Welcome back in my channel. If you don't know me, hi, hello, I'm Dory, airline pilot and GA pilot as well. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a different video because it's Halloween and I wanted to like have a spooky moment on my channel. And I know I haven't been uploading for a while, but I haven't got a chance to fly GA that much this year. And I'm not a big fan of filming vlogs at work, so it's hard to make content when I don't have all this, but it's about to change. I won't say more than that. So today we are going to talk about the ghost of Flight 401. So let's jump right into it. So Eastern Airlines Flight 401 was scheduled from New York JFK to Miami on December 29, 1972. The aircraft was a Lockheed L-1011 3-star, a wide-body jet designed for long-haul flights. The flight was a routine with seasoned Captain Bob Loft, First Officer Albert Stockhill, and flight engineer Don Repo. So what happened on Flight 401? So as the flight approached Miami, the crew began their descent and setting up for the approach and landing. However, upon the landing gear extension, they saw that the green light was not working for the nose wheel. So if you don't know, in the flight deck, because we cannot see the wheels, we have 3 lights, and when we drop the gears down, we can see 3 green, and that means the landing gear is locked and down. But on that day, they had only 2. So unsure if the nose gear was actually extended or if it was a landing gear failure, or just a bulb malfunction. Sometimes, like 99% of the time, the light is just not working. I remember at flight school we had one airplane like that. The light was always like flickering, so you had to not get to have 3 greens. Flight school. However, so they decided to focus on that. So I'm assuming they went around and tried to troubleshoot the issue. At 11:32 p.m., the crew put the airplane on autopilot and began to inspect the problem. Captain Loft asked Repo to check the light panel, and both Loft and Stockhill became focused on resolving the issue. Unfortunately, by doing this, they became distracted on their primary duty. What is, you guessed, flying the airplane. That's what we teach you from day one at the flight school. Aviate, navigate, caffeinate. Communicate. So, yeah. And that's available on my store. Not this, that was a special edition, but you can still find the normal one. So let's go back on our story. So they were trying, I guess, to change a bulb, and while the crew was preoccupied, they accidentally disengaged the autopilot. So I don't know that specific airplane, but I know other airplanes like the one I'm flying or any modern jet will be pretty loud about that. So if you have the autopilot disconnecting, it's gonna beep, it's gonna say something in the flight deck. I do not know if it's the case in that airplane, but they disengaged the autopilot. And when you have the autopilot on, that is going to basically trim the airplane. So when you disengage, on papers, the airplane's gonna remain roughly the same altitude. So what happened there? They start a really slow and gradual descent. They didn't feel it because they descended basically from the cruising altitude to 2,000 feet. So that's a long time for not noticing you descending. And in the dark of the night over the flat terrain of the Everglades, there is nothing to help you see how high you are. When it's a black hole, you don't see, right? That's why we have instruments. And they were descending, and they kept being focused on that green light for some reasons. I think we can call maybe fatigue. I don't know. This is just a ghost story. I am not there to review the NTSB report or anything like that. There is other channel. I'm just here to talk about the ghost. Okay, so don't come at me. So the attitude warning chime sounded briefly, alerting the crew of the plane's descent. However, Captain Loft dismissed the alarm. I was not there. And he likely believed that it was a glitch or another distraction from the landing gear issue. And unfortunately, the plane continued its deadly descent. The crew didn't realize the severity of the situation until it was unfortunately too late. By the time they noticed, the first officer, Stockhill, explained, "We did something to the altitude." No kidding. It was 11:42, and the aircraft was only 100 feet above the swamp. Just a second later, the plane slammed into the Florida Everglades at a speed of 227 miles an hour. The aircraft broke apart upon impact, scattering wreckage across the swamp terrain. That's one place I really don't want to crash. Just a crocodile will finish the job, I guess. Tragically, 101 of the 176 people on board died. However, 75 people survived, including flight attendant Beverly Raposa, who is credited with leading the passenger through the darkness and muck to safety. The survivors were eventually rescued, but many were left deeply traumatized by the event. And I just want to mention again that flight attendants in your flights are not there to serve you coffee. They are there to fix when upfront we mess up. They are there to save us. They are there for your safety. Just so, because of the crash, the NTSB later concluded that the crash was due to pilot error. No kidding. Specifically, the crew fixation on the landing gear light caused them to neglect their primary task of flying the airplane. A faulty light bulb had distracted them and was worth less than $1. Following the tragic crash of Flight 41 that claimed the life of 101 people, including Captain Bob Loft and flight engineer Don Repo, strange and unsettling events began to unfold on Eastern Airlines. These planes were not just aircraft, they were airplane fitted with the salvage part of Flight 41. So they took whatever they could from that airplane that was still in shape and put that to other airplanes, because airplane parts are extremely expensive. Crew member and passenger alike started reporting ghost sighting and eerie occurrences that became infamous in the aviation industry. Encounter occurred not long after parts from the wrecked plane were installed on Eastern Airlines' other jets. Crew members and passengers aboard this flight start seeing figures that look exactly like Bob, Loft, and Don Repo. So on one of those flights, it's actually one of the most known sighting involving flight attendant working in galley. The Hoven was from Flight 41, and she claimed to have seen the face of Don Repo reflected on the oven door. So according to her, Repo gave her a warning, watch out for fire on this flight. And incredibly, the plane did experience an actual mechanical fire later in the flight, just as Repo predicted. On another flight, a captain was preparing the airplane for departure, and when he opened the cockpit door, he saw none other than Bob Loft on the seat. So Loft didn't speak, he simply sat there and stared straight ahead. The crew was so shaken by the encounter that they delayed the flight for over an hour while the plane was truly searched. I don't know how to explain that to the passengers. We delayed your flight because we have a ghost on board. No physical evidence of Loft presence was found, but the entire crew had seen the apparition. So it's not only one person, like the full crew, so the ghost. So this time a flight attendant reported seeing Loft's face on the overhead bin. She initially thought it was her imagination, but after mentioning to a fellow crew member, they realized that once again, everybody saw that. Some crew members described the supernatural as more than just visual. Several reported the sudden drop in the temperature in an otherwise warm cabin. One particularly dramatic incident involved a flight engineer who performed a blessing on a haunted flight. After sprinkling holy water in the galley, the temperature of the plane just plummeted, and Repo's ghost allegedly appeared, only to disappear a few seconds after. At first, Eastern Airlines attempted to dismiss the ghost sighting as nothing more than rumors and fearing bad publicity. No kidding. Just employees who reported the encounters were often referred to company psychiatrist, In some cases, the claim were logged as sign of emotional distress. And however, despite the airline's best effort to keep the incidents quiet, the story spread rapidly among the crew. Like, there is nothing faster than crew gossip. We all know that. The logbook on flights where ghosts were seen became another source of controversy. Employees discovered that a page of the logbook were missing, particularly for flights that had been delayed due to ghost sighting. These missing pages only fueled the rumor of a cover-up, as the airline struggled to keep control on the situation. So, eventually, Eastern Airlines removed all the salvage parts from its planes. These parts were perfectly fine, but the persistent haunting of the airplane left the airline no choice. The cost of replacing was significant, like airplane parts are expensive, but the risk of further ghost sighting and the panic they could cause was greater. So why the haunting? Some believe that Loft and Repo spirits retain tied to the physical part of the airplane because of an unfinished business. The crash had been caused in part by human error, and perhaps these spirits felt the need to warn and prevent further tragedies. Others speculate that the salvage part carried the residual energy from the crash site in the Everglades and is trapping the spirits in an endless loop. Ghost sighting eventually faded after the removal of the salvage parts, but the legacy of the Flight 401 has never really disappeared. To this day, stories of haunting flight continue to be passed down among the pilots and flight attendants, serving as a chilling reminder that not all mysteries of the sky can be easily explained. So that's about it for the story of today. I hope you liked it. Sorry, I'm not the best storyteller, but I wanted to do something different, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you like shirts and hoodies, you can go to my website pilotdory.com, and if you use the code pilotdory, you're gonna get 10%. Alright, I hope you liked it, and I will see you around soon. Bye.